Hello everyone, welcome back to Story Time. Today's story comes to us from the Old Testament. Now, the Old Testament is full of stories that happen before Jesus was born. So Jesus is not born yet, he has not come down to earth, but the Old Testament is so fun and so cool because it's full of stories of what God was doing before Jesus came, and he did a lot. He did a lot of cool things. He was preparing for his people for the Messiah, for Jesus, so that he would come and save them. And so there's lots of cool things that we can learn about. And today's story is a very popular one. Lots of people know it, or at least know little bits of it, but it's super cool. So we're going to read it together. And it's called Daniel and the Roaring Lions. When mighty King Darius ruled the ancient world, his palace in the sands shone like a pearl. His city called Babylon had gardens in the halls. Gold-painted lions gleamed on the walls. Now Daniel, the prophet, was the king's wisest man. So Darius put Daniel in charge of his lands. But certain Persian princes wanted Daniel's place. They decided to bring Daniel down in disgrace. That's not good. So spies watched Daniel all day long, hoping to catch Daniel doing something wrong. But Daniel was honest right down to the penny, and as for faults, he just hadn't many. Then one of the spies said, "He has odd ways. 3 times a day, Daniel stops and he prays. He goes to his room, gets down on his knees, and prays to a God that no one sees." The princes went to Darius that very day, and this is what they asked him to say. "Make this a law that all must obey. To foreign gods it's forbidden to pray. All praise should be given to Darius, the king. It's forbidden to bow before any other thing." The proud king let the princes have their way and signed their request into law that day. The ink on the tablet had just begun to dry when his enemies laughed because Daniel would die. And before the sun had set that day, the spies arrested Daniel as he knelt to pray. "Daniel knows the rules, and Daniel cheated. Daniel doesn't pray to the king," the princes repeated. Daniel and Darius stood face to face. "I wish," said the king, "my law we could erase. There is only one way I can keep the peace. You will have to go to the den of wild beasts." Into the lion's pit Daniel was led. All day the lions had not been fed. They licked their lips and began to roar as outside the king sealed the only door. With tears in his eyes the king went away. In the palace his supper grew cold on its tray. Only one thing stayed on the sad king's mind. Would his good friend Daniel be eaten alive? After listening to the lions roaring all night, Darius came running as soon as it grew light. "Daniel," he shouted, "please say you're all right." Then the king himself almost fainted from fright. For there stood Daniel, alive and alert. Amazed, the king shouted, "You're not even hurt." "Oh, Daniel," said the king, "what a great surprise. Truly, your God rules both the earth and skies." This day your God has proved to be real, and before your God all people shall kneel. Your God saves his people and loves his own. Let the story of Daniel forever be known. So remember Daniel in the lion's den, a true story with a happy end. For Daniel's God is our God too. He always watches over me and you. The end. And God is always watching over you, friends. And just like the end of the book says, Daniel's God is our God, and he's always watching over us. He took care of Daniel and kept him safe from those scary lions. And you know what? He keeps us safe from the scary things of this world too. We know that we can pray to God any time if we're feeling scared or sad or angry or happy. God loves to hear from us, and he promises that he'll always be with us, no matter what. I hope you enjoyed this and you have a great day. And remember today that God is with you, and he's for you, and he loves you.